Yeah, we're also not in fear.
Yeah, I mean, they're all over now.
Well, there's another bird.
Move around each other. Just very erratic patterns.
Wow. Wow. 10:48 p.m.
You know what? I'm so happy. I can remove those things. I really... Thank you. I appreciate that.
Are you done? Yeah. Just yeah, it's weird how when you get night vision, it opens your whole mind up even that much more.
Right?
Because I mean, you see things that you just can't see with the naked
Thank you
eye.
so much.
Stuff
Wow.
watch a space accident in the clouds.
This is like the parades that UFO
I feel like
this is
the just normal rocket.
Yeah.
She came back and she
Wow.
like 5 seconds.
I gotta try to get this on my cell phone. I wonder if I can even see it. How's it going, everyone? This is Justin, and welcome back to Lights Over Loveland. Today, I'm going to be making a video breaking down some of that footage from that UFO parade that we saw at our second event on September 20th in Nunn, Colorado. We were looking out towards Wyoming, kind of northwest, and we started seeing just an endless parade of incredibly bright lights coming from the horizon and even coming down from the sky towards the horizon. So we're going to get into this footage. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to talk about what was going on and just what I was feeling as I was seeing this, because this was incredible. This is the most insane Skywatch I've ever experienced, and I'm so happy I got to experience it with other people and be able to document it for you all. So let's break down this footage. Alright, so I decided to start this clip here because there's this flashing, and originally during the event when this was going, I thought this was a plane. And now I should have probably checked this with flight radar at the time, but back now that I'm watching this footage, I don't know. It kind of flashes strangely. There will be points where it does different intensities and brightness. It also seems to stop moving at one point, and my friend and the other people at the event were actually looking through night vision binoculars, military grade night vision binoculars that the hosts Cardi and Dave have. They have 2 pairs, so we are taking turns using them, and you can see so clear through these things. There's like there's no doubt when you're looking at these things through those. Yeah, so my friend was looking at this through the binoculars. And what he describes right here is this is a triangle coming in. And the flashing one is, I think, a part of the triangle. I am probably going to have him come on and like explain all this from his perspective, because I couldn't see it at first. At the time, I was really concerned actually with making sure my camera was pointed where it needed to be to record all these things. So he was looking through those. I got a quick glance through them, and then I passed him back off and came running over to make sure my camera was good, because we were actually probably, a good 20-30 feet away from where my camera was set up on the tripod, and we were just chit-chatting, having a good time. And then we saw a really bright orangish, I don't know, like a candlelight kind of color, was really bright just out there on the horizon, and it just phased in, got really bright, and then faded out. And I didn't catch that one on video, so I was really kind of bummed, and I was like, dang, okay, I'm gonna point my camera over here. And then moments later another one showed up, and then it was just full on, just non-stop for 30 plus minutes of these bright orbs coming from the horizon. And the video here doesn't do justice to the color. They were more of like an orangish kind of color. They looked like a ball of fire, honestly. And then how they get huge like this, the camera kind of is a little deceiving. So when they get massive and look like basically the size of the moon, take that more as that's the intensity of the light. Like that's how much power is being put out. And they do get bigger. You can see them visibly get bigger, but they just get so intensely bright.
Yeah,
So you're going to see here just multiple of them just coming in, getting so bright. And I was curious to ask, so I asked my Google Gemini. I have the Pro account, so I asked it what it thought of this footage. I was able to upload a clip of it, and it said the most logical thing it could think of was a military exercise at F.E. Warren. And we were I was going back and forth with it, giving more data, and there was a military exercise at F.E. Warren, apparently September 16th through the 18th, and being a former service member myself, I was in the Air Force, I know the exercises don't tend to go past the end date, and once the exercise is over, you're not going to start a new exercise. The only other strange thing that happened this night too was apparently there was a train fire in the same location at 1 a.m. it was reported. So this was started at 10:30 and went till shortly after 11. So I don't think it was that either. Here you can see an orb descending downwards and getting bright. The other ones were moving up. There's ones going down. They're moving all different directions. So I don't know what to make of it. I just think it's incredibly fascinating that we were all gathered together to have a Skywatch event. The sky was completely cloud covered, and then out of nowhere we just had the most incredible show put on for us. And you know, could there be a logical explanation for this? Yeah, maybe, but also just the fact that time after time things just show up, and just, you know, when you think things aren't going to work out, the weather was not good. Both events too, like the first event we had to deal with a rainstorm. It blew over one of my cameras on the tripod. We had to all seek shelter. The winds picked up, it was thunderstorm, it was crazy. And then I still recorded so much amazing things. So that's why I made that video if you haven't seen it. But I created a meditation about creating the proper mind state to get into to connect to this phenomenon. Because contact is not an external thing. This is internal. You need to get into the right state of awareness, so these beings will show up and present themselves and try to communicate and start this relationship. And anyone who thinks these things could be something else, you know, everyone's allowed to believe whatever they want, but I say look at this with an open mind. And look, there's like a triangle right there of them. Yeah, and then there's some flashes up in the cloud up there. So
I don't know if I got that either. Hopefully that was in frame.
yeah, it's just
flash again if you did.
Open your mind and, you know, check out all my other videos. All this compiled evidence, like, should be enough for anyone to become a believer at this point. I've recorded some strange things. And then here's a plane, so you can see it has a very distinct colored blink. So I recorded a couple planes tonight. This one had a red light. The other one I recorded had a green light. But yeah, after watching the other flash, I don't know. So that's going to be the end of the clips. So now we're just going to kind of talk a little bit more about what just happened. Okay, so the following day, I looked up to see if there was any reports of anything unusual in the sky. in that area. And as of the morning after, when I had searched, this is what my results came up. And it said there was nothing unusual reported between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. the previous night. And it says, while minor meteor activity is always possible on any given night and satellites can occasionally be visible, there is no indication of any out of the ordinary occurrences that would have been widely observed. And side note, I guess F.E. Warren scheduled a pirate party for September 20th. So yeah, I don't know, but no announced aerial exercises or launches that would account for unusual lights in the sky during that time. So that is the most important part of this. So after that, I still wanted more answers. So I found out I could upload video to my Google Gemini and have it be analyzed. So I uploaded my footage and I gave it more background information, and it said first that my methodical approach is excellent by using flight and satellite tracking apps, which I do use Orbitrack and Flight Radar. I just forgot to use it on that strange flashing one because I just assumed it was a plane. I could probably go back and try to see if there was something flying by at that time, but I know there were a couple planes flying by, so it might be hard to judge. But it says, from what I've told it, the ascending motion is key. Your repeated emphasis that the objects were flying from the horizon, which they clearly are, you can see from the video, and they're flying up into the sky. So it rules out parachute flares. So parachute flares, if they drop flares, they're going to descend with the parachute and they would get bright and burn out. And then next, the behavior of the lights. The objects were silent, luminous orbs that materialized, got very, very bright, and then fade or disappeared. And the amount of them for a 30-minute period, I didn't count how many are in this video in my footage that I uploaded. If someone wants to go back and count how many there are, I'd love to know, but there was so many of them. So many. And I don't even know how many were not visible because of the clouds. I describe as a parade, which was, yeah, it's unlike any natural phenomenon. And then the location is facing towards Cheyenne, which is where F.E. Warren Air Force Base is located, which is also, I don't know if it's still currently a nuclear site, but at some point it was a nuclear site. So very interesting. I think I have some more breakdowns that we can go over here real quick. My AI does not want to jump to the fact that it could be some kind of crazy phenomenon like I assume it is. So this is what it thinks the possibilities could be. Ground launch flares. So it says there's still a remote possibility artillery or mortar launched illumination rounds ascend before igniting. However, the sheer quantity and prolonged duration of the event makes this less likely for a standard training exercise. And then, yeah, furthermore, as me being a veteran, I would have familiarity with some of this stuff. And I was also in munitions for a job. So, yeah, I did work with chaff and flares when I was stationed in the military at Ellsworth Air Force Base, which also was a nuclear site. It is no longer, they say, a nuclear site, but who knows. So the other explanation is advanced drone swarm, and it says this is the most plausible explanation. That did not look like any drones that I've ever seen. I don't know why there would be drones flying up parade like that. So now with that information, let me explain to you the location. So if you've never been to Cheyenne, Wyoming, it is out in the middle of nowhere. There is not a whole lot going on until you get to basically Wellington, Colorado, which is pretty close to Nunn. And then on the other end of that, there's nothing until like Chugwater or Torrington. You're talking another like hour and a half, 2 hours till you're at another town. It's nothing. There's nothing out there. There wouldn't be any large scale flying to and from there. I don't know why there would be any kind of operation. They'd be launching flares into the sky out there. There's nothing out there. So if someone has a good explanation, I'd love to hear it. But I think this was just an incredible experience, and I am so incredibly grateful that I was able to document this and be able to share it with everyone. That is another big part of this. So like I was saying, contact is internal. It's also something that you have to be completely open and willing to engage in, and then you just have to be humbled to whatever intelligence is out there. And I always ask, every time I record, I say, please, if it be your will, let me document whatever you want me to show mankind to help awaken them to what is going on. And that is when I record all these things. A lot of times I point my camera in one spot of the sky. I'm only covering a small little portion of the entire sky, and I record all these things. That alone, just what's the odds of being able to capture all this phenomenon just setting up a stationary camera? I think about that a lot. I'm like, what are the odds out of this entire 360 degrees of the sky I can position at this probably little like 30-degree section where I can only see this narrow little spot, and I can capture all of this? I'll leave you with that, and I would love to hear your comments down below. What did you think about this video? What do you think about this footage? And I just love it. It's amazing. And if you've made it to the end of this video, I want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. You are a rock star. Thank you for being here, a part of this community. And I try not to promote a whole lot of stuff, but I am going to be dropping some new merch soon, and all sales from my merch store go directly to helping support this page, help me be able to get better equipment so I can make better videos for you all. And if you want to see proof of that, just go look at my old videos compared to now. We are so far beyond where we started, and we're only progressing upward from here. So keep an eye out. I got 3 new shirt designs that are going to be dropping. I enjoy all 3 of them, and I can't wait to show you all what they look like in person. And please drop a like, follow, please share this video, and I hope you have an amazing day filled with love and light.